Hi guys, welcome. My name is Tennessee. Today I'm bringing you a lower body yin class. So yin is holding restorative postures for longer periods of time, up to 1 to 2 minutes. Of course, if you have longer, if you have 3 to 5, I definitely recommend holding as long as you can. Otherwise, 1 to 2 will suffice. Now, I always start my classes with a chakra clearing. If you don't know what chakras are, there's 7 energy sources throughout your body. They start at the base of your spine and they work their way up to the crown of your head. So I just want you to check in, notice what feels good, notice if any discomfort or any tension in the body. When we have discomfort or we have tension, that is your body communicating with you. So it's always really important to get out of your head and drop into the body and kind of notice where that lies. Because each chakra is also associated with a gland, with an organ, with emotions. So we always want to move that stuck energy through, allowing that energy to move. Now with that said, we're going to start in a child's pose today. So you're going to be in a child's pose for the first few minutes of class as we do the chakra clearing. So if you have blocks or if you have books or if you have something around the house, even a sturdy pillow to help bring the ground up, I highly recommend that. Sometimes child's pose can be quite the hip opener to start. So go ahead and work your way into your child's pose. You can bring your knees out wider than your hips. Bring your toes to touch behind, again, if you have a block or anything like that. Also, if you have a bolster, you can use a bolster as well, or again, a sturdy pillow, anything like that. So go ahead and take a block, if you have it, all the way to your tailbone. Shift your hips back, bring your toes to touch, and just melt your torso down to the earth. Draw your third eye down to your mat. Now just kind of settle in here. See if you can check into your body, scan your body, see if you're holding any more tension through the hips. Allow that to release. Now close your eyes. Inhale, completely fill up your lungs. Audible exhale, let that go. Let's do that again. Inhale, completely fill up. Audible exhale, release. Now I just want you to clear your mind and bring your focus, your energy awareness to the base of your spine, to your root chakra, your first chakra. This is your I am space, your foundation, your safety, your security. This is where everything starts. Now again, just check in, notice what feels good, notice if any discomfort. Now on your inhale, bring your focus, your energy awareness into your second chakra, the space below your belly button, your sacral. Your I feel space, where you house your emotions, your desires, your sexuality. And now move your energy up into your third chakra, the space above your belly button, your solar plexus, your I do space. This is what drives you, where your passion, your creativity, your power all lie. Now slowly start to work your energy up into your fourth chakra, your heart. Your I love space, your space of relationships, self-acceptance, and unconditional love. Now guide your energy up into your fifth chakra, your throat. Your I speak space, your space of communication, your truth. Now gently work the energy up into your sixth chakra, the space just between your eyebrows, your I see space, your space of intuition, your third eye. And then finally, take your focus, your energy awareness all the way above your head to your seventh chakra, your crown chakra. Your I understand space, your path to enlightenment. Now I want you to draw the energy all the way down to the base of your spine and then inhale it through the 7 chakras through the crown of your head. Notice if anything gets stuck, of any discomforts, or if it feels good. Work to bring your focus, your energy, your awareness to those areas throughout your class today. One big clearing breath in. Audible exhale, let that go. Nice work, guys. Go ahead and lift your forehead up off your mat. Now this time, I want you to just turn all the way to the long side of your mat, working our way into frog pose. So you're going to take your knees out as wide as you can. And make sure that your ankles are in line with your knees. So flex your toes back towards your shins. Now, option to stay lifted onto your hands. Other option is to come down to your forearms. Now you can pull your hips back in line with your knees. Keep flexing your toes back towards your shin. You can also slowly walk your hands forward and lead your torso down to your mat. Now again, you can always use your blocks or a bolster and bring it underneath your chest. You can take a block, place it under your forearms. You can also stay here and just work your third eye down. What I really want you to focus on is actually pulling the hips down to the earth. So energetically pulling your root straight down. Now, if you're not feeling anything here, make sure that your hips are pulled back in line with your knees. And then make sure your ankles are in line with your knees as well. Now use your breath. If you feel any kind of tension, any kind of discomfort, I want you to breathe and bring your focus into that area. Allow that energy to move. Inhale to slowly lift back up. You can bring your knees back into your midline. Now work your way into your Yogi squat Malasana pose. So you can stay to the side, the long side edge of your mat, or you can face the top of your mat. Plant your left foot out to a 45, just outside your sitting bone. And then your right foot outside your sitting bone. Bring your elbows inside your knees, thumbs to your chest. Now again, if this is too much, take a block and just sit on your block and hold it here. Now extend and lengthen through the crown of your head. We're really working into the groin, into that inner thigh, and your outer hips. Now just breathe. Try not to dunk down, so try not to round through the spine, but you're lifting and extending and lifting, engaging Mula Bandha, so your root lock and your belly button pulls in, which is your Uddiyana Bandha. Bandhas are energy locks in the body. So you have three. You have a Mula Bandha, your Uddiyana Bandha, and your Halandara Bandha. In yoga, you always want to engage your Mula Bandha and your Uddiyana Bandha. You only engage all three when you're in your downward facing dog or when you jump back to a Chaturanga Dandasana. And that's called your Maha Bandha. There's also some meditations and breath work that you can do with your Maha Bandha. Off your mat, of course. Just kind of breathe, let it go. Give me one more breath. Now just slowly plant your hands down. Lift all the way up. Find a forward fold. You can turn your toes forward. Your feet are about hip width distance. You can add any movement you need here, side to side. I'm going to go ahead and face the top of my mat so you can see the side body. Now again, you can bend your knees as much as you need here. I just want you to dangle down. So wrap your arms towards your elbows. Find a ragdoll pose. Now, you can add any movement, you can add a figure eight, you can scoop the energy up into your midline. Again, bend your knees as much as you need to. You're working your torso to the top of your thigh. Let your head hang heavy. Release any tension to the back of your head, your neck, and your jaw. You should also feel this release into your hamstrings. You can work on straightening your knees, drawing your hands down to your mat. Good. Now, if your hands are back or in your ragdoll pose, go ahead and plant your hands down to your mat. Take your left foot just outside your left hand, and then plant your right foot back behind. Lower all the way down to your right knee. Untuck your right toes. Find a dragon lunge. So pull your hips down and forward. Now, option to stay lifted onto your palms. Option, if you've got it, to come all the way down to your forearms. Keep hugging your left knee in. Other option, again, is to take a block and just place your forearms on top of your block. Let your head hang heavy. And breathe. Don't hold your breath. Don't create more tension into the body. Now also, I want you to check your front knee. Make sure that your front knee is stacked to your front foot or your front ankle. So if your foot is stepped back and your knee is pulling forward, can you step your left foot closer to the top of your mat, stacking your knee on top of your ankle? Now, option to stay where you're at. Another option is to walk your hands over to your right, the right side of your mat, or opposite your front foot. And then work your way slowly down. Inhale, slowly lift back up. Now this time, just walk your left foot over to the right side of your wrist, or to the right side of your mat, behind your right wrist, and then find a half pigeon. So parallel your left thigh or left shin to the top of your mat, ground through your pinky toe first. Now lift, extend, lengthen. If this is where you're at, stay here. Otherwise, find the forward fold. Again, you have your options with your block. You can place your forearms onto your block. Another option is to take your block and set it underneath your outer left hip. That creates a support here. Sometimes this can be very extensive into the hips. But you want to keep your hips in one line. So you want to keep them in one line to the top of your mat. Guys, inhale, slowly lift back up. Remove the block if you have it. Now tuck your back toes under, lift your right knee. Lift all the way up. Just plant your right or your left foot back to where it was, and then lower your back knee down. Shift your hips back, find the half splits. So Ardha Hanumanasana. Flex your toes back towards your shin. Lead your torso to the top of your thigh. Again, you can always place both blocks just underneath your hands to help bring the ground up. Try to stay lifted into your hips, so stack your hips to your back knee. Oftentimes the tendency is to lean back onto the heel, but I want you to see if you can lead or lift up and then lead your torso to the top of your thigh. Feel that stretch through your hammy tie-in. One more breath. Exhale, slowly bring your left knee back. And this time, just place your right foot up above to the top of your mat. Find your dragon lunge. Left knee draws down, untuck your left toes. Again, option to stay lifted onto your palms, option to come all the way down to your forearms. Now one side may be tighter than the other. That's totally normal. Just check your front knee, make sure your front knee is stacked to your ankle. If your right foot is pulling back and your knee pulls ahead, see if you can step your right foot forward and stack your knee. Just allow your head to hang heavy. Just breathe. Again, option to stay where you're at. Another option, walk your hands over to the left side of your mat, opposite your right foot, and just again, feel that stretch, leaning all the way down to your forearms or staying lifted. Inhale, slowly lift back up. Exhale, half pigeon. Go ahead and take your right foot over to the left side of your mat, behind your right wrist. Parallel your shin to the top of your mat. Now, if it's okay if your shin isn't totally parallel to the top of your mat, if it feels more comfortable and you need to pull your foot closer in to your groin, you are more than welcome. Go ahead and lengthen, extend, and then exhale, slowly lower back down. Again, option for a block underneath your forearms, underneath the outer hip. Good work, guys. Inhale, slowly lift back up. Remove your block. Plant your hands down, tuck your back toes under, lift your back knee, and just plant your right foot back to the top of your mat. Lower your left knee down, find a half split. Shift your hips back to stack. Lead your torso to the top of your thighs. One more breath. Good. Now slowly just sweep your back or your right knee back. Now, if you have a bolster, bring your bolster in, or a pillow or anything like that. Working our way into hero pose. So you want to keep your knees about hip width distance. Take your feet slightly wider than your hips, and then just sit back. Now, if this is where you're at, if this is intense for you, stay here. If you've got it, we're going to work our way onto our backs or onto your forearms. So you can have your bolster and just set it back by your feet. You can lay your forearms on top. Also, if you don't have a bolster and you have your blocks, you You can also lay it here and bring your forearms back. Whatever works for you, whatever equipment you have. Again, if you have books, anything like that will work as well. Work your way back. Now, if this is where you're at, stay here. Belly button pulls in, chest is lifted. You can release any tension through your head, your neck, and your jaw. If you've got it, you can take your gaze slightly back. Now, if you've got the extension, this is quite the extension in through the quads, you can plant your hands back by your toes and work your way all the way back to your forearms. And then slowly draw your head back. Now this also stretches the tops of the feet, the tops of your, or into your ankles, so it's quite intensive. That you start with blocks, you start with a bolster, and then eventually you slowly start to work your way down, and then eventually working your way all the way onto your back with your arms above your head. Inhale, slowly lift back up. Work your way slowly back into your tabletop. Now that you should feel, so go ahead and shake out. Let that go, breathe. You need to tuck your toes back under, shift your hips back. Finding the opposite stretch. When you're ready, slowly come all the way to a seat. I'm gonna face you guys. You can stay to the top of your mat. And just take your legs out wide. Now flex your toes back towards your shin. Belly button pulls into spine, engage your Mula Bandha. Uddiyana Bandha is always engaged. Inhale, arms reach all the way up. Exhale, wide forward fold. Now, if this is where you're at, if you start to feel tension into the hamstrings, into the groin, sitting up tall, just stay there. Maybe you're here, maybe you're sitting straight up, and that's totally fine. Walk your hands slightly forward. Maybe you take it inch by inch. And then slowly start to work your way down to your forearms, or start to lower your torso down all the way to your mat. Again, option for blocks. You can take both, leave your forearms here. You can stack on top of one another, draw your third eye down, reach, extend, just settle in. Now, the longer you stay into these holds, the easier it is for you to inch a little bit forward. So if you stay in the hold for 1 to 2 minutes and then you're able to walk a little bit further, warming that up, I highly suggest it. Inhale, slowly lift back up. And then exhale, come all the way up to your backs. Hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself a big hug. And then slowly find a supine twist. Over to your right, bring your arms out to a T. Take your gaze to your left. Inhale, slowly draw your knees back into your midline. Exhale, supine twist to your left, gaze to your right. Inhale, slowly come back into your midline. Exhale, draw your legs straight down to the top of your mat. Allow your feet to fall out to the side. You can bring your hands out to the sides of your hips, palms face up. Just close your eyes and come into your final Shavasana. Option to stay in your Shavasana for as long as you need. Otherwise, wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, bring life back into your bodies. Inhale, completely fill up your lungs. Audible exhale, let that go. Let's do that again. Inhale, completely fill up. Audible exhale, release. When you're ready, come into a fetal position either on your right or your left side. Your masculine or your feminine energy. Your masculine is your right, your feminine is your left. And then work your way up to an easy seated pose, crossing at your ankles, lengthening through your spine, just sitting up tall. Inhale, arms reach all the way above your head. Take all that good energy, bring it down into your heart center, your heart space, your fourth chakra. Inhale, your confidence, your self-love, your self-acceptance. And then exhale all your fears and doubts. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Namaste.